Good Wednesday morning, Quad Cities. It is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. The time is 9 o'clock. And here we are for a special edition of Ask Andrew Live. And special in a couple of ways. One, obviously, look where we're at.
Oh, it's the best background. It's the best background.
I wish we could have this every week.
I know.
It's gorgeous.
I love being out here. We're so excited for this week. It's finally here. It's going to be a busy week out here, that's for sure.
Lots going on. It is John Deere Classic Week. And also it's kind of rare, too, number two, because all three of us are in the same spot at one time.
I know. I woke up this morning to just check in because I didn't know if they wanted me, to be at the studio or whatever, but it sounds like everything's been going well out here. So Andrew was like, want to come join us? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
I will be there.
Join the party. Because, who wouldn't want to be on the beautiful set of the 19th hole, right?
Yes. I know. I think this is my first official time, actually being on the set.
Yeah.
Of
really?
the 19th hole and doing something.
Oh.
Yeah. Usually I'm helping out behind the scenes or doing weather in front of the clubhouse over there. So.
And it is a beautiful set this year. Our friends at Uncommon Ground, they have done a phenomenal job here. We've got the beautiful 18th hole right behind us. And it's a big day today. It's Pro-Am Day, so the tournament has not begun yet. But it's Pro-Am and it's Youth Day.
Yes.
So it won't be too much longer. We're going to hear some kids probably in the background here running around, getting some autographs, soaking in the atmosphere. And really is just a really cool event. And this is, I would consider this the biggest event in the Quad Cities of the year by far.
Oh, I'd say, for sure. And especially now that it's coinciding with 4th of July week, it is just a crazy week for the Quad Cities all around. So definitely starting to feel like it, though.
Oh, yeah. The temperatures are climbing.
It's starting to get there.
Humidity's going to be climbing.
Oh, yeah.
So today, one of the more comfortable days. It's going to get a little bit more uncomfortable as the week goes on. And we're going to talk about that. Plus the two questions we had this week and your own questions. Go ahead and get those in the queue right now. And you can do that by texting the number on your screen here, 309-304-0888. 309-304-0888.
309-304-0888.
I should have had Morgan read it once, too.
I was going to say, remember to text, don't call.
Don't call.
And message and data rates may apply.
Yes.
Exactly. If you call, you're going to get a very angry receptionist asking why you're calling this number when you should be texting. No, I'm kidding. You won't. Sabrina is very nice. We love Sabrina. She's awesome. She's our receptionist. But yes, that's where you want to get your questions to. We're, of course, also monitoring the Facebook live stream as well. So you can also post your question there. But it's best to get used to the text number. That's the guaranteed way to get your questions in.
Yes.
And remember, we keep them weather related. We don't make it weird.
Don't make it
weird. Nope, we're here to talk about weather, and that's about it. Leave the politics at home. Leave the chemtrails at home. Leave the LIDAR and the HARP and all that at home, too. We're not going to be talking about that today because, nobody wants to go down that rabbit hole. But we'll get started. We'll talk a little bit of weather and then the couple of questions that we had this week because there were some really good questions, too.
There were.
We had one about green skies. Does that mean a tornado is imminent?
Like that turquoise green? Yeah.
I think we've all seen that a time or
Looks
two.
Looks a little eerie, that's for sure.
It is so creepy. And then the other one came in from Marcus. We all know who Marcus is.
Yes.
Marcus?
He asked, are raindrops tear-shaped?
Okay.
So that was really cool, and we'll dig into that here too. So let's talk weather first, and we'll pull up what's going on weather-wise here. This morning has just been so nice here. The fact that we had temperatures starting off in the 60s, that was a treat. Now, it's warming up now, obviously.
Yes, it's starting to feel it.
You were mentioning as soon as you got in the tent, it was like, ooh, it's getting warm.
Yeah, once you walk into our little tent studio here, it's like a 10-degree automatic increase.
It is, yes.
From outside, which says already a lot.
It is, and that's something that's going to climb throughout the day. And you guys are going to be out running around in this, too, by the way.
I know.
Oh, we're going to be busy.
You will be very busy. So hope you brought your sunscreen. You brought your water. Yep.
I did.
You're ready to go.
I brought my portable fan.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea,
I'm ready.
too.
I was going to bring my other one. I couldn't find it.
Oh.
Tomorrow. I promise I'll have it tomorrow.
I might need to borrow that.
Yeah.
That is going to be a very hot commodity around here in the next few days. We've quickly warmed up, though. I mean, it's already 82 here at the course. Feels like 84. We're still comfortable, though, because our dew points are in the mid-60s. So we've got that going for us. One of the things we talked about in the forecast this morning was this building heat and humidity over the next several days. And why is that going to be the case? Well, I want to take you into Future Track to show you kind of the synopsis of what we've got going on here. So today, not a whole lot. Future Track has been aggressive about these darn showers for the last 2 days. We've said we're not having showers today. We will have some of those cumulus clouds, but I just don't see much support for showers. But look at this, guys. We actually get a complex of thunderstorms not that far away later tonight. And what we think is going to happen is, one, it's not going to make it here. But two, as the thing falls apart, these things spit more moisture into the air.
Ah.
And that means tomorrow is going to feel
more humid.
sticky. Yeah. So it's a
Right.
little tease.
Yeah.
Hey, it's also, we're just about to get into peak corn sweat season around here
Yeah.
too.
That's right.
You just add everything on top of that. We're just nothing but humidity, I think, here for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. It is the beginning of July, and it is what we expect. So we'll ramp that up. Tomorrow, mid-90s is what it'll feel like. 100 degrees is what it will feel like on Friday for the
Yikes.
4th of July. So if you're going out to the Classic, I would say especially starting tomorrow all the way through Sunday, that's where you need to use a lot of your common sense. You're drinking the water. You can enjoy your other beverages too. I know, I've been here. There's many other beverages to enjoy, but just don't forget, to take a
The
shot of water
water.
between the two.
Yeah, you
you
just
know.
keep the water consistent. You'll
Yeah.
be good. And the best thing I love about this course is the huge trees everywhere.
Yes.
There's never lacking any shade. So it's super easy to find, and that's what I love so much about this course. Because I've talked to, I don't play golf, but my brother loves it, and he was talking about that. He's like, the big trees, I love it. And he's like, it's just really unfortunate when you go to some of these golf tournaments and you can't find any shade and the sun is beating down on you. But here it's, again, you can easily find it. So like Andrew said, common sense, lots of water,
Yes.
sunscreen, and we'll have a great time.
Yeah.
We'll have a grand old time. So keep that in mind if you're coming out again this weekend. Don't forget your sunscreen too. Going to want that.
Yeah.
If you're doing the whole red, white, and boom thing, and I apologize to Brandy, our director. I know you have this beautiful 2-box set of my graphics that'll interface with that. So she's probably doing a lot of punching back there at the studio. I apologize. I'll be better about that next time. But red, white, and boom for tomorrow evening. We have a River Bandits game that starts at 6. Don't forget, if you go to the River Bandits game, it's kind of a twofer. Because you get in, you watch the game, you can stay in your seats, and you're right there in the front row for Red, Right, and Boom. That will begin at 9:30, right after the game. That's my plan anyway, and we're going to enjoy that tomorrow. Temperatures near 80 around fireworks time. Before then, we'll be in the mid to upper 80s, so it's looking pretty good for that.
That's not too uncomfortable.
No, we can
And
handle
doesn't,
that.
correct me if I'm wrong, I know humidity does have some sort of influence, at least on the loudness of fireworks.
It does,
Really?
yes.
Yes. Doesn't it make it more amplified?
It will,
Yes.
yes.
So that's usually why I feel like it just seems extra loud this time of year. Because, there's usually, the two most popular times of the year
Yeah.
for fireworks. Now, or 6 months down the road,
Yep.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
And I feel like I don't hear it as much in the winter, but it's non-stop for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And I will say that the Moline Police Department has been trying to post lots of messages, go to those professional shows, be a friendly neighbor is what they're
Yes.
saying. Don't be keeping people up because some of us have to wake up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
Remember those neighbors.
Don't forget that. And I'm one of those neighbors that has to wake up. I will say my neighbors are really good about that. I've never had a problem.
I live in downtown
each year.
Moline. They are not.
Everybody just kind of does their own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also remember, too, there was a great social media post on this a couple days ago, when to call 911. We don't call 911 for fireworks unless one is taking your hand off or a finger or it's an emergency like that. The police, really probably don't want to have to go around to every neighborhood and try to shut down fireworks. So
Yeah.
keep those lines open for emergency only is a good reminder for that. As you head into the next several days here. There's the next several days. Speaking of, this weekend, still think we have that chance for a shower thunderstorm, but the timing's favoring way late. We're talking late evening into the overnight. So fingers are crossed. If that is not the case, I will be here on Sunday. You can find me really easily because I'll probably be droning. What I want you to do is stand up and just point at me with the meanest face you can make on Sunday if it ends up
what
raining.
did you
What
told
did you
us.
do?
Although I do really like that northwest wind right there on
That is
Sunday.
good.
Yes.
Regardless, that's a welcome sight because that'll kind of start to make things feel a little bit better on Sunday. I was gonna say, I wouldn't be mad at a quick passing shower
No,
Saturday or
I don't think
Sunday.
that's bad at all. Cool us
Just
off
a
little.
bit cool down, although then it gets really
That-
sticky
it's a
again.
sticky
But
cup.
regardless, I wouldn't be mad at it. But the lightning and all that stuff, I I hope
Yeah.
it stays away
We don't
at
want
least
that.
late.
No,
Don't want that at all.
Not at a golf course.
Lightning and golf, just not a good combination.
not a good mix.
So we'll fine tune that as we get closer and closer. Again, it's a few days out. Things can still change, but that's kind of the trend that we're seeing so far for this morning. The question we had today, we will go right into that, and then I'll review what we had on Monday, and then we've got plenty of time for your questions here this morning. So we talked about raindrop shape, and this was something that I didn't know about. I mean, we really don't talk about the shape of raindrops in meteorology school.
I think that really the only time we really talk about it is like the actual size of them. You know,
Yes.
there's the sprinkles, and then you get those heavy downpours where it's just like so loud, and you can tell the raindrops are just a little bit larger than normal. That's the only time that we ever, I think, talk about it. So yeah, I'm actually interested in this because I never really thought about the tier shape too.
Yeah, like who knew? So yeah, we talked about like raindrops versus hailstones and how the radar determines all that. So yeah, this was really interesting to kind of do a little research on this. So here's what I found and what I learned. So I didn't know this, but did you know that they're actually not tier shaped? Even though in our weather graphics system, this is the rainfall drop icon.
Is it like, okay, so is there an actual shape to it? Can I guess?
There is a shape. What shape do you think it is?
Like, I got to think about
Not to
like,
put you on the spot, but
like as it's falling. It's
yep,
going to be like a cylinder almost.
kind of.
Okay.
It's kind of kidney bean shaped.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. So you can call it kidney bean shape. The one that I looked up from NOAA, they called it a hamburger bun. It was in the shape of a hamburger bun.
What?
So
Yeah.
yeah, this was crazy. And then the diagram they had, which I kind of duplicated here, it reminded me like if you go to get your X-ray and they're talking about your joints, it looks like your knee joint, kind of, because with the two, Isn't that freaky?
Hamburger bun.
But yeah, it's in the shape of a hamburger bun.
That's
I saw you
awesome.
making this graphic. I was like, Andrew, what is this?
Actually,
That's
I moonlight
awesome.
as a orthopedic surgeon
Oh, you
on the
do?
Yeah.
weekend,
Okay.
so yeah. Small secret.
No, that's actually fascinating.
Isn't that something? So yeah, I mean, it makes sense when you look at the physics of this. You have the raindrop in one piece falling very quickly down through the air. That air resistance at the bottom of the drop makes it a little flatter.
Interesting.
Who knew?
That makes sense.
Who knew?
Wow.
And they can break apart into smaller hamburger buns too. They don't, but they're not actual hamburger buns. If we
Yeah.
had hamburger buns falling from the sky, that might be the end of times. I think
Yeah.
that's the sign.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't mind, like, like a cloudy with a chance of meatballs
I was
situation.
gonna say, that would be
No.
kinda good in
Oh
a
my
week.
gosh,
Maybe
yes.
just an hour. some
Yeah,
good food.
but like if you're gonna rain hamburger buns, make sure you have all the condiments and the accoutrements that are needed with
Yes, we need everything. The onion,
Yeah.
the mustard, pickle, ketchup, everything. So yeah, we found out this morning that they're not tier shaped. They're actually, like Peter said, kidney bean or hamburger bun shaped. So that was really cool. The other question we had, this was on Monday. Does a green sky necessarily mean that a tornado is either present or a tornado is going to form? And when it comes to a green sky, we're talking about during a severe thunderstorm. So what we found out with this was that green is created by the sunlight reflecting off of likely very large raindrops or large hail particles within a very deep or tall thunderstorm. The deeper or taller that storm is, the more intense that green color is going to be. And it usually happens, and I've seen this too, it's later in the day. It's kind of late afternoon, evening, sunset-ish is when you'll get that color. It doesn't always mean that a tornado is imminent or one is occurring. It only happens, that green color, because of the way the light is reflecting off the rain and the hailstones within that cloud and the angle of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say usually if you see that green color, like Andrew said, it's either heavy rain or hail. So usually
Yeah.
you're gonna be near that hail core, or it's gonna start pouring very soon. Like that's usually more of the indicator if you're seeing that turquoisey greenish hue out there, which it's a beautiful color to see. It does
is
look very
gorgeous.
intense, but yeah, definitely it does not always mean a tornado is gonna form. We really don't have any true indicators besides
You're
an actual tornado forming that a tornado is going to form. So,
Very well said. Yes.
I was gonna say just your shelf cloud and maybe some circulation before. Is the
yeah,
only
we could get a
potential
wall
you get.
cloud, but that's still like as long if it doesn't connect with the ground, you still don't have a tornado.
Exactly.
So,
Gotta have that connection.
They're
Yeah, so
pesky little things.
they are, and they're a pain to forecast
Yes, they
sometimes, too,
are.
especially when they're in a line. But yeah, that was a great question there too. I mean, one thing you can guarantee is that you have probably a severe storm on your hands at
Yes.
least, because you're dealing with that larger hail. But yeah, we can't always guarantee that that's a tornado. I think most oftentimes it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a severe storm anyway. You need a severe storm to get a tornado.
That's true.
The green skies just happen to be there because of that angle of the sun and what's going on in the cloud
Yeah.
itself. But very cool question.
That is.
Loved it. We had some good ones again this week. And one of those, like always, was taken from Ask Andrew Live. So this was the perfect opportunity again. If we get to your question, maybe I want to do a little deeper dive. We'll do that during the week. So keep asking those questions. Keep them coming in. There's been some really good ones. And now we've got a lot of time.
You got a lot of
15
time.
minutes.
Yeah, we got about
15.
15 minutes. We got a couple
Yes.
people, just a couple people checking in, but
See what questions we got floating out
so
there.
we actually have a weather joke.
Oh, I love a weather joke. Let's hear it.
Okay, this is from Riley. What do you call a weather report that tells jokes?
Weather report that tells jokes. Any ideas?
Weather report that tells.
A weather report that tells jokes. Or is it a weather reporter that tells jokes?
No, weather report.
Weather report. I don't know. What do you call it? What's the
A
answer?
pun forecast.
Ah,
Pun forecast.
That was cute.
that's good.
Very cute, Riley. I
Was
like
that Riley? Yeah, she gives us those good puns a lot.
Yes.
Okay, we have Steve from Davenport asking, how will this week's heat and possible weekend storms impact play at the John Deere Classic? What adjustments should golfers make for changing conditions?
Yes. So the increase in humidity. I remember we did a story on that. Was it last year or the year
Yes,
before?
you and Allison, correct?
About how the travel of the ball, the distance, and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's something they always, kind of keep in the back of their mind. It doesn't look like they're going to be dealing with too much wind in the
No.
near term either. So the humidity will play a factor. I think it was more the dew point that we looked at that played the factor in how far the ball was going to travel. You guys, in fact, all three of us are going to, it sounds like going to go do this, but right after we get done here, we're actually going to go check in with one of the meteorologists who's here on site helping to keep the players safe.
Yeah, so he's the PGA meteorologist. So he has a tent here. He's here every day looking at models.
I'm excited to talk to
And
him.
he's, he works across all sorts of PGA tournaments. He's done the Masters before. So really incredible guy. He's going to tell us kind of the behind the scenes and how, you forecast for almost a specific area because, you're forecasting primarily for just the golf course here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you look at your general models, but how you kind of understand and make your way through on making those game time decisions. Should we delay play? When will we be looking at the potential for delay play at a specific point rather than an overall area? Which is going to be really fascinating. He has so many cool weather stories to tell too about golf.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that. And keeping that responsibility of not just the players and the caddies and everybody else, but, thousands of spectators that are going to be here.
Yeah.
And having a way to alert those folks that, hey, we need to clear the course. It's not safe to be standing out here right now. I'm really interested to learn their protocol and how they're going to do that. And it sounds like we're going to get to find that out here coming up.
Yes, right around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be
45
awesome.
minutes or so, give
Yeah.
or take. Yeah.
And I've been here since I got here in 2018. We have not done a story like that yet at the JDC, so I'm really excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
It'll be a really cool story.
We have our digital people throwing in questions for us too, but I do
Awesome.
I want to point out this one right here. When does corn sweat season start?
Yes.
Oh, it's already started.
Yeah.
We're in it. I can pull up. It's kind of near the top of my list because we talked about this
I think it was last week, right?
last week.
Yeah.
On how we're kind of reaching that maximum point of the corn sweat. We will be here in the next few weeks. I'm not a corn expert, but I've read enough about it to kind of know somewhat what I'm talking about in terms of the corn's growth stage. There it is. There's the
They
graphic
always
that I
say knee
want.
high by the 4th of July. That's
Yeah.
about my extent knowledge of
Yeah.
corn.
I've seen a lot that are a lot taller
Yes,
than that
and
now.
yeah, they
It's
have
grown
really.
this year.
And honestly, it probably has to do with just we haven't had horrible I feel like the rainfall has been pretty consistent and just
Yes.
enough to get areas a good drink of water. We're staying warm and humid.
Oh, yes.
We know that that's going to help those crops really thrive too. So I'm hoping for some good sweet corn here in a couple weeks. I am so excited.
I heard it's coming in about a week or two.
It is.
I bet.
So
I'm really looking forward to it.
It will be here before you know it. And yeah, if you look at the evapotranspiration rate. So this is the amount of water that plants, more specifically corn, will shoot into the air every single day. And this is just one corn plant, by the way, I believe.
One corn
I
plant?
think it's one corn. Well, maybe it's an acre. It actually
Yes.
might be an acre. I'm looking at the scale. It's probably an acre. But think of how many, hundreds of thousands of acres are
Well,
out
and
around here.
we can kind of go off this, which this might need a little more research, but we were talking to our boss man's wife yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
And she said she has noticed, usually corn and soybean fields, they usually go back and forth depending on the crop planted each year. And she said she noticed way more cornfields
This year.
than soybean fields. So would that really add to our humidity?
Yeah. Because I believe the corn plant puts out a lot more
Yes.
moisture than the soybean plant. Yeah.
So if we're seeing a lot more corn, we're just continuing to throw in more moisture into the atmosphere.
So this is where we need to page Miss Bigglehopt.
I know, that's
Who's
what
our
I was
ag
thinking
That's what we
about.
talked about
Yes.
yesterday.
Why are farmers planting more corn? My hypothesis is probably the price of soybeans is tanked.
Oh,
And the
really?
price of corn is probably more stable, more
Yeah.
steady. But yeah, I've always heard that they rotate them to keep the soil fertile.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I'd be curious
So
about
yeah,
that.
I think it could be a little team up between us and our little ag expert.
Yeah.
So
Good
yeah,
question.
something that we're definitely going to be watching here. Okay, so we got with highs in the low 90s Thursday through Saturday. How early should golfers and fans start slapping on the sunscreen and wearing UV protective gear? I'd say it's
Pretty-
never too early.
I was saying never too early, and we did a Ask Andrew about this a while ago
Yes, with the UV index.
with the UV index and what types of sunscreen
Yeah.
are important for these types of situations.
Here, especially, you can expect the UV index to really start, I think, kicking up around. Depends on really the day, but 9-10 o'clock even. We'll
Oh,
start
yeah.
to get that UV up a little bit for us.
And this month, July and June, are our peak months of the year for UV index, where we average right around 9 to 10 UV every day.
Yeah, once
So-
once the UV index starts hitting that 5 or 6 mark,
Yeah, you can get
you're
burned in
still
about,
definitely able to get burned.
isn't it about 45 minutes, give or take?
Yeah.
Around that 5-6?
Yeah.
And then once you hit 9-10, it can be as quick as, what, 20 minutes?
Very
Yeah.
quick.
Very
Very
quick.
quick. And Peter, you did that story too. You put this graphic together.
Yeah. I
Showing
mean,
the different kinds of sunscreen, which I had no idea. I just thought the higher the number, the better.
yes.
But there's different kinds.
There's different kinds, and there's also, your mineral sunscreen versus your chemical base. And a day like the JDC, you're going to want to be out here for a while, right? So you're going to want to use that mineral base because your skin actually absorbs mineral-based sunscreen while the chemical just sits on the top. So you want to have a high SPF mineral base. So for SPF, kind of the way to determine what you're looking at there is you'll multiply the SPF times 10, and that's the amount of minutes that you're protected. And that's not taking into account perspiration, sweating, activity or swimming in the pool. So that's where it could get washed off. So say SPF 60, that's 600 minutes, which is what, 10 hours?
Yeah, it's a long time.
But think about your perspiration, that drops that down
Yes.
to about 25% its level.
And-
And you're going to be sweating a lot
Yes.
here with the humidity. So
Yeah, and it's
apply
always
a
just
lot.
good practice. I'd say every couple hours, just getting that rhythm. I feel like you can never overdo it
No.
on the sunscreen
No.
here.
And yeah, definitely going to want one of those SPF mineral or sport formulas, one of those first two. That's definitely what you're going to want to use for a day like this.
I'll have to look at what I brought. I don't
So-
know what I brought.
Yeah,
I
I,
just
had
grabbed
no
one.
idea.
Yeah.
I just thought, when it said minerals, I was like, oh, this is the fancy, smanchy stuff.
Well, that's
like,
what I always thought. I
That's-
heard that the mineral sunscreen's better for you,
It
regardless.
is better for you
Yeah.
because it's not a chemical base. Your body
Yes.
absorbs it. So, I mean, the chemical works if you're spending a quick time outside. Nothing wrong with that. So, you
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
go into the pool for 30 minutes. But you definitely, overall, it's a little bit healthier. And for longer lasting events like the John Deere Classic, you want to use that mineral base instead of the chemical and high SPF.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
right.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Good job with that.
I've seen on Facebook about a potential for tropical development in Florida. My question is, could you please give an update on this situation?
Sure. I noticed that a couple of days ago, the National Hurricane Center was kind of monitoring an area, and now it's actually gone up in probability. They've got a 40% chance of tropical cyclone formation in the next week, right along the Florida coastline there. Both sides of Florida, actually, it looks like, from the
Wow.
latest update from the NHC. It wouldn't be unusual for something to form there. It is July. You know, we're now officially in hurricane season. That started June 1st.
And as the water heats up, that's when we really start to see things ramp up. So we're likely starting to see those water temperatures heat up. Again, peak hurricane season is September. So we still have
We have a ways to go.
a ways to go.
It's
Yes.
also interesting too that is forming in an area where the ocean, the sea surface temperatures are the warmest. Last year we had a lot of the Atlantic as a whole that was warm. That area is cool, with the exception now of the northern Gulf and areas right along the shoreline. So that's probably another reason as to why the National Hurricane Center is kind of ramping up their prediction probability there.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I had
The tropical tracker stuff.
the tracker. Yeah,
Have we had any? We haven't had a named Atlantic one yet, correct? Or did we get
we
one?
did.
got
We
one,
had the
right?
A storm. Yep.
We had the A
Okay.
storm.
Yep. So we've already gotten rid of that one. Did we
Okay.
have the B storm?
I
No.
thought we might have. Maybe. I don't know. We've been so busy here with this
Oh my gosh,
that ring of
yes.
fire pattern.
Yeah,
kept
I was
us
gonna
so-
say our weather here has been pretty active. I feel like I
Yeah.
haven't had much
We've
time.
had we've
to
been
catch
lucky
up.
this week.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been kind of pretty busy. That was from Billy. Great question. By
Oh,
Billy.
it was from Billy. Okay,
Hello,
that's
Billy.
that's a great
Yes.
question. He always has some really good questions.
Billy always comes in.
Yeah, I'll have to update that graphic, and then we can talk about that. Maybe we can even talk about that on the 11.
That could be
Because
fun.
I just don't have it in my arsenal yet. But yeah, it's something to watch. I mean, if something were to go up the coast of Florida, it kind of stalls the weather pattern, and that could have an impact on us here too. So definitely something to watch.
All right. I think we have a couple minutes left here, so we have time for one more question. Melissa and Durant, what are the warmest and coolest temperatures for the John Deere Classic?
Ooh. Warmest Friday for sure.
Yes.
Friday
Yeah.
for sure.
Sunday likely looks to be the coolest.
Thanks to the rainfall chances.
Yes. But if you're also talking about just in general for this week for the Classic, I feel like we're always, without a doubt, it's always hot and humid, unless it's
Yeah.
raining, which I know we've had a couple weeks where it's been a little miserable out here with shower and storm chances. I'd say the only takeaway from that is you're not dealing with the heat and humidity as much
Yeah.
with those patterns, but for the most part, this is a pretty typical Classic forecast.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, we would expect something like this.
Keep
it?
hydrated. Every day.
That's the thing. It's just your water intake. As long as you're watching that, you're in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Hats help too. I know a lot of folks are coming out with
Yes.
the wide brim hats.
I know, I forgot a
Smartest
hat.
thing.
That's
Bucket
something
hat?
I forgot today.
I will say they have some pretty cool bucket hats at the merch shop.
I'm
They do,
trying to
yes.
go over there.
Oh,
Trying to go over there and check that stuff out.
Lots of cool stuff in
lots
there.
of cool stuff.
Do we have time for one more? We got another one to sneak in there.
I don't know if we.
I think that's all I see
what
on
we got
mine. I
for
guess
now.
I could go
See?
on my personal, see if
Oh,
anyone's.
that's true.
Because I shared it.
I always forget to check that one. There's so many different places you can go,
So many places.
Nope.
and Facebook's kind of weird anyway.
It is. I didn't have questions for the first half of the show. Again.
That's all right. That's all right. So I want to remind folks before we wrap up here, we'll see if we can get you to the bottom of the hour. We got 2 minutes. What you can see in terms of what's going on here at TPC at Deer Run here for the next several days. I think this year, first, of course, we have the A+ streaming app. This is the first year we were going to be utilizing that. Lots and lots of resources went into that. Make sure and check out the 19th hole. There's a preview show on there. Even if you're like me and you don't know a ton about golf, I just know enough about golf to be dangerous. But even if you're not a fan, the amount of work that our sports team put into the 19th hole, the preview show,
Oh,
Yes.
it was incredible.
I thought it was really, really well done. I learned a couple of new things. I thought it was entertaining. Check that out. It's on the streaming app now. And then, of course, there's going to be more coverage throughout the tournament itself that you can get on the A+ app.
Yeah.
We're also streaming all of these cameras. We have a golf ball camera, the giant golf ball out
Yes.
front. There's a camera on that. You can see it right there.
Yep.
That is streaming. We've got a camera, I think, right outside our tent here where all the players are going to be walking up. We're streaming that too.
It's all part of the second screen experience that
Yeah.
we're doing this year. And then during that second screen experience, Morgan and I are going to be doing what we're calling Behind the Magic. Because you know what
Behind
happens
the
here?
Magic.
Magic happens.
Magic
Yes.
happens
So we're going to
here.
be showing you behind the scenes. We've got, again, that interview
Yeah, we're
at
gonna
10
go
o'clock
explore
with the
things, talk
PGA
to
Meteorologist.
fans.
We've got a bunch of other fun interviews lined up, either Jenna Miner.
Go find some of
Corey
those staple
Cuffler.
foods.
Yeah, we're going to have all
The
sorts of
pork
interviews
chop,
here throughout the
yes.
day. So try foods, yeah. Interview fans. I got some JDC trivia lined up too.
Cool.
We're going to have some fun.
It's gonna be fun.
So
I'm
stay here
excited.
on the A+ app throughout the day. We're going to be doing hits. And
Yeah.
showing you guys some fun stuff.
Yes, download on your TV, watch for free.
Yes.
Amazon.
Yep.
Roku.
Yep.
And
Fire.
Fine.
Wait,
Well,
that is
Apple
Amazon.
TV.
Apple.
Apple TV. Yes.
I always kind of
Yes.
use Fire and Amazon.
I
said the
know,
same thing.
and hopefully, fingers
some
crossed soon, Samsung.
Samsung is coming soon. Yes,
Yes,
there's
we're
a
working
couple
on
of
that.
bugs to work out. Once we get those figured out,
That's
we'll
what
have
I
our
have, of
Samsung
course.
experience. I know. Everybody's got Samsung, it seems, right? That, I think, took us to the bottom of the hour.
Yes.
So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, as you always do. And I also want to thank these two guys
of course.
and gals for coming in today, too,
Yes.
to join me for Ask
And
Andrew
if you're
Live.
heading out to the course at all this week and you see one of us, come say hi.
Yeah,
Please,
we
come
love
say
it.
hi.
Come say hello. We are not shy at all. And
Nope.
no, you're not bothering us. You're fine.
No.
We'd
Yes.
love for you to say hi.
Yes.
All right, for weather anchor Peter Warner and meteorologist Morgan Strackbein, I'm Andrew Stutzke. Thanks again for joining us here. I'll see you coming up on GMQC at 11. And of course, we'll see you right back in the studio next week for Ask Andrew Live. Have a great day.
Continue with us and watch free now